Well, he's the man everyone's talking about today, the former Army Chief and now Australian of the Year, David Morrison. I spoke with him a short time ago. David, congratulations and thank you for your time. I know you're a very busy man. You didn't pull any punches last night, and if I can paraphrase you, you said that we're a country that discriminates against gender, religion, race, sexual orientation, physical disability. In saying that, are you pointing the finger at bureaucracy and leadership, or drilling down further and saying we all have to share the blame for that?
I wasn't being quite as accusatory as that, Tracy. I was saying that there are too many in the Australian population who are living in a time of great excitement and great potential, who are being judged on criteria that just, don't count. Whether it's someone's a male or a female, whether someone's able-bodied or disabled, or someone who is heterosexual or of another sexual orientation. People need to be judged on what they're willing to put in, what commitment they've got, what potential they've got to offer all of us as a society. I'm speaking encouragingly, not laying the blame anywhere, but saying to Australians, look, over the course of my time as the Chief of Army, I started to see the world differently. I started to make different judgments about where merit lay, and it would be worthwhile to at least consider those issues during the course of 2016, because we might end up in a better place than where we are now.
How do we change those problems?
I think we need to talk about them. I think we need to have people within the Australian community, men and women, talking, using social media. As in any rich democracy such as ours, we need to have robust but respectful conversations. I've got to say, I am so much a glass half full on this. I think the Australian society is at a tipping point now. I think we are calling out when we see bad behaviour or people being discriminated against. And I think that's exceptionally healthy in an Australia of 2016. I don't see that I need to point the finger at anybody. I've certainly, I guess I've become more mellow since I left being the Chief of Army, perhaps. But I do have, I think, a role to play as the Chief of, as the Australian of the Year, to just keep talking about issues around diversity and inclusivity, and of course continuing the exceptional work that Rosie Batty did in the area of domestic violence.
Did you hold these passionate values as a young man, or are they forged by life?
I think both. My parents were wonderful people who raised me in a loving family. I was allowed to fail safely. So many people don't get that opportunity in life. I did certainly have some pretty rough edges knocked off me during the course of my life, though. That, I think, probably happens to us all. I now see issues that I didn't see as clearly as what I did perhaps as briefly as 5 years ago. I've heard voices that I didn't listen to in the same way. And having heard them, having seen them, I don't want to unsee them, unhear them. I think that we've got terrific opportunities in this country, but we'll only meet the challenges that we face if we give everybody the chance to reach their potential.
One of your closest friends is, and co-nominee this year, is the transgender officer, Catherine McGregor. How pivotal has that relationship been to you becoming such a vocal advocate for diversity?
Oh, it certainly had an impact. Kate is someone who I have known all of my professional life. We met in the early months of 1980. She was on my staff as my speechwriter when she told me that she was now at a point in her life where she had believed that she had to go through the transition of gender. I have seen the struggles that she has had, some of the vilification that she has received, the courage that she has borne that with, and the now grace that she conducts herself with, and that has been of influence. But I've got to tell you, I've been influenced by thousands and thousands of people, the soldiers of our army who do such extraordinary work here and overseas, women like Elizabeth Broderick or Catherine Fox or Avril Henry or so many others who have in their own lifetimes made a telling difference to the Australian society in terms particularly of women's issues. And I'm a better person now than what I was when I came into the job as the Chief of Army. I certainly wouldn't have been, I think, even considered for a nomination of Australian of the Year without the journey that I've undertaken in the last 5 years.
Well, I know we've grabbed you at the airport, and that was a plane very noisily taking off just then, or coming in. I hope it wasn't yours. Thank you very much. No, you can't control everything. It's not your fault. Thank you so much for your time, David.
Oh, thank you, Tracy, and all the best to you, and happy Australia Day to you and your viewers.
Thank you. Australian of the Year, David Morrison, raising issues we all need to discuss. After the break.